So, welcome again. What we were learning, and perhaps I think we are becoming clear what is real self. So, there are three ways to understand what is not real self. We should filter out. If we do not filter out what is not real self, then the mind will continue to go back to the same stuff. So what we need for that, we need discernment and dispassion. So our self-inquiry is done with discernment and dispassion. So we went further in few sessions that what is intellect, how intellect works, what are the four powers of the intellect, that faith, that power to express and hold on to that thought, make a decision and regulate. That four aspects of the intellect simply means let the intellect is like a mirror. It is facing the world, so the world will reflect. Now this intellect is facing the real self, so it will reflect the real self. So what is not real self? Always remember, knowledge is realized in stages. The seed does not become a tree overnight. We talk a lot about, instant food. I will do it very fast. So there are 4 bread in a plate. Eat in one go. Let me see. What are the things that you can do very fast? Speak the entire one page, what is written on a one page in 1 second. Think of this. Why this happens. Now we have to answer that before we go further. The mind perceives this world is changing so fast. So the mind thinks, due to ignorance, why I also should not change so fast. So we have, I would say it is a fake understanding. Instant food, instant relaxation, instant meditation, etc., etc. You want to know why it happens? So whenever your mind says this, just become aware. So let me explain you why this happens. Nothing affects me even if I know the entire world outside. Let me bring it to a practical. Nothing affects me even if I know Biden, Zelensky, Putin, Macron. But it affects me if I know myself. Did you understand? I want to know myself. That will affect my behavior, attitude, expression, relationship. But if I know anyone outside, it doesn't affect me. Why it affects me? Because the mind is looking outside. Did you get it? The more I know who am I, it will affect my life. The more I know others, it affects my life because the mind lives in ignorance. Are you getting it? Mind lives in ignorance then a small thing, honey says, what the heck you are doing? And then I get upset. Such a simple thing in our life. We are not able to hold on to that clarity and the wisdom. No, I'm not political, but I'm just giving an example. You know everything about Biden, Putin, Zelensky. These are the great names appears every day in our life. How it affects my life? Can it change my life for better? And if I know myself, it affects me. So what is not real self? We have started what is not real self. We are not the physical body. We have covered material cause, efficient cause. Do you remember? Now we are understanding what is we are not the subtle body. Do you remember the subtle body? Subtle means it is not perceived by the senses, mind, intellect, ego, the five functions of the prana, the five faculties of knowledge. You can see the eyes, but you cannot see the faculty of a vision. That is why it is subtle. So the material cause of this subtle body, we are going a little deeper today. So if you remember all we have done in the last two sessions about subtle body, you will be clear. First thing to understand that our master says that find out the material cause and the efficient cause. Let me give you another example that, this is a Samsung phone. So the material cause is all the parts, matter. And what is the efficient cause? Who is the maker of this phone? Samsung. Android phone. That is the efficient cause. Are you getting it? So there are always the two causes. Material cause, efficient cause. So efficient cause of the subtle body is still my past impressions that I told you, I promised you that we will understand in great detail as we follow this program. Five sense organs, five motor organs, five energy functions, mind and intellect. These are the 17 factors that makes causal body. No, sorry, subtle body. And I am not the subtle body. I am not the subtle body. The functions of the subtle body, we already understood that these five organs of knowledge receive the sense data from their counterparts in the physical body. I receive that data in the physical body. Then the sense data is passed on to the mind. The mind integrates the sense data. Did I tell you about the UG Krishnamurti fan moving and the noise? Fan and the noise. So here the mind integrates the knowledge from the eyes and also from the ears. And then the mind says it is the fan that is running. The intellect analyzes the sense data. It also receives the past experiences, past decisions. And then decision arrived at is passed on to the mind again. That is how we know a particular thing. So once we have a clarity until this point, then we go a little slowly. When all this is happening in the subtle body, ego plays a very peculiar function. Ego is responsible for the I sense, I thought in me and in you. We receive any data from the world outside, and someone inside says, I feel, I see, I recognize. See, that is what the I. This I takes birth in the intellect. This. So if we are not clear, if we do not live with the four powers of the intellect, the power of faith, what it does, I want to know the real self. I want to filter what is not real self, the power of a decision, the power to hold on to the choice, and the power to control and regulate. What will happen? I fall back into ignorance. So what I said, now see the importance of purification of the mind. So simple, now it becomes very simple. You all are seekers. Intellect facing or the mind facing the world, so it will only reflect the world. But I am not present in the world outside, so I have to purify the mind. So now the mind is facing opposite. Opposite means it is facing the real self. So that real self will reflect in the mind. That is one way to understand what exactly is meditation and why we say the meditation awakens to real self. But we are talking about subtle body. So until this mind and the intellect is 100% clear that I am not the subtle body, nothing is going to happen. So what is happening because of ignorance, because of our desires, because of our craziness, because of our laziness, because of our obsession? This mind or the intellect returns again in the world outside. So when you are sitting in meditation, the mind says, I feel discomfort, I don't like what the teacher is saying, and it enters into unnecessary, unwanted thought. So I have to simply become aware. When I am aware, I see them different and separate from me. Then what happens? Then I can absorb into a meditative state. With that clarity and understanding, we are still talking about subtle body. Remind you, what is not real self? We are not the three bodies. So we are talking about the second body. So the problem enters into the mind. The problem of ignorance enters into the mind. So we can use the two words in English, identification to association. This is my body. Until this is okay. This is my car, this is my computer, this is my monitor. That is okay. But this is me, identification. So when this is me, whatever is happening in the body, I'm responsible. The body is constantly changing. It cannot sit for an hour stillness. And then the mind enters into the ignorance and it causes a lot of challenges in our life. Same thing. I should be clear, not intellectually, but experientially. So experiential understanding that I move from identification to association. I'm associated, yes. I have a body. This body, yes. So So where lies the problem? That is where Sam was asking perhaps yesterday, that this mind, when we use the word mind, it is structurally one, but it has four functional divisions: mind and memory, intellect and I thought or ego. Do you see that? Mind and memory, two, and the intellect and the I thought are another two pairs. So mind is called the four different names based on the functions it performs. But why we want to know that? Ignorance resides in the intellect. Ignorance, what is ignorance? Misunderstanding, wrong notion. What about misunderstanding of what? Misunderstanding about you? No. Misunderstanding about who am I? Ignorance dwells in the intellect. The intellect is where you have all the ideas about yourself. The intellect thinks it is not awareness. And that is where the problem lies. So, in order to, that is why we are understanding that we are not the subtle body. Understand? Yes, say yes. But the problem is how fast this knowledge gets assimilated depends on how clear the mind is. Did you understand? Yes. Or sometime your mind says, no, I should say yes, otherwise why to create conflict? No, that will not work. There is no reason to have any conflict. How fast this knowledge gets assimilated depends upon how clear the mind is. What do you mean? Can you recall? Is your mind working like a camera or a mirror? Are you getting it? If the mind is acting like a camera, it stores all the impressions. It has already taken the pictures, and then it will identify with the past impression and it will create another set of understanding that is totally misunderstanding. That is ignorance. Huh? Do you still remember that the mind acts like a camera, mind acts like a mirror? If the mind is always agitated, either by desires or fears, it will not be able to explore in the intellect that this is an I thought and I am not the I thought. That is the ego. No. Are you getting bored or understanding? Now, what do we have to contemplate and reflect? What is real self? Never changing. Is subtle body changing? Yes, always changing. Today you are good to me, tomorrow you are bad to me. Today I like you, tomorrow I dislike you. So can I throw these likes and dislikes? Oh, it is coming from the subtle body. I have to do nothing with it. Don't conclude very fast that this guy is good and that guy is bad. It will haunt your mind. Remain indifferent. Remain in the state of dispassion. 90% of the changes that the mind is undergoing, you can drop it. It happens because of likes and dislikes. We conclude very fast. So we are going little deeper and we say that this subtle body is subject to change and the real self is non-changing entity in me. Hence, I cannot be the subtle body. Another point that our masters makes, and from there originates the law of karma, law of attraction, we have in the West. But that we will talk later. But here, the subtle body has a longer life compared to the physical body. The physical body exists only for one birth. We will understand that clearly, so keep in your mind. Because if I go there, then we will not be able to understand the subtle body. So what I said, the subtle body has a longer life compared to the physical body, this physical body. This physical body takes one birth, whereas this subtle body continues into the future lives as well. That is why you are Stephen and I am Girish. That is why you are Anesthesia and I am Girish. The blueprint. So don't compare it with the DNA and RNA. That still is the part of the physical body. We will go deeper, but understand up to this point. And then we will explore what is this subtle body that continues into the future lives as well. So this subtle body is responsible for one birth, second birth, third birth, and birth after the birth. That is the reason sometimes we are able to remember the past life events. I'm giving one sense. Buddha says, go to the original birth, the very first birth, from where the problem arises, and you will be enlightened. So all these masters go through it. Third point, that the subtle body is only evident to myself, not to others. What you are thinking at this point, I may not know. Maybe thinking, oh, this beard guy seems to be crazy. He doesn't understand. You might be thinking or appreciating. The subtle body is only evident to myself. Your subtle body is evident to yourself. Physical body is evident to everyone. I can know my thoughts and feeling, hence I can change. It is only available to me, not to the others. That is why it is called the subtle body. We are just understanding why it is called the subtle body. Subtle body. So contemplate and reflect any experience that we get in the world comes from the subtle body. What is that experience? Whether you say it is an experience, it is the knowledge, it is awareness, it comes from the subtle body. Until today, we will understand that. So we are not the physical body, we are not the subtle body, and then we will work on what is causal body and why we are not the causal body. How they are related together, and because of their relationship of which we are not aware, causes problem, suffering, fear, insecurity, dissatisfaction, unhappiness in my day-to-day life. How do you claim that you are unhappy? Who says you? Subtle body. Does the subtle body knows who you are? No. So how can you claim that I'm unhappy? Do you see that? Do you see the argument made by our masters? I am stressed. Okay, so where are you stressed? Let me see. Now I have a headache. So head is the part of the physical body. Are you physical body? No. How can I say that I'm stressed? How can you say that you're stressed? One more point, then we will follow the practice. I was teaching one guy again from Ukraine. He does private lesson. I said, look at, don't see the 5 elements casually. If these 5 elements are not there, so-called in our lives, nothing is going to happen. So there is a physicality of these 5 elements that makes my physical body and your physical body. There is a subtle elements. So these 5 elements become very subtle. Let me help you realize that. If there is no space, can there be a free movement of the body? There is no space. Can there be any free movement of the body? Can you even blink your eyelids? Can you even think? Now take it very physical. If we have a very small house, we are into the train, especially in India, if you are in a bus, there are 100 people standing in the bus. So you don't have a space. You see understand now the subtle space. If we are not aware of that subtle space, it causes a lot of problem. Fire is good in the kitchen, but if the fire breaks out, water is extremely essential for the physical survival. But if the flood comes, those are the subtle aspects of these 5 elements. So the more and more we are aware of those 5 elements, we realize it is only these 5 elements that created the 5 sense organs, that created the 5 motor organs, and even that is responsible for the mind and the intellect and also my ego. Because they are matter, hence I cannot be the matter. Matter is inert, and whatever is inert does not know anything. I'm conscious entity. So how the masters lays down understanding from the physical to the subtler level and again to the subtlest level. So once we are 100% clear that we are not the subtle body, we are not the physical body, we can absorb deeper and the mind can start pointing out to the real self. But there is one more body is left, that is causal body, that we will take up in our next session. Close your eyes. Let us start our journey with reference to we are not what we think we are. If I say in a so eyes are closed, the body is steady, Eyes are closed, the body is steady, and now see that who controls the physical body? Is the physical body controls the subtle body, or subtle body controls the physical body? You explore. Who says, who experiences, who knows that the physical body is steady? It is the mind. Clear? But if the mind has the past impression triggers your mind. Oh no, last time I had, body was constantly moving. Oh. So now that impression is living today. The subtle body never dies so easily. So that is why we say the mind has to be pure. It should act like a mirror. It's a practical application of what we are doing. Look at it. How easy. So now see, even contemplating and reflecting only on one question, who controls the physical body, controls the subtle, or subtle body controls the physical, you will realize. And that helps you to keep the mind facing within. Naturally, you need not to worry about anything. No, but you don't understand, my body is still moving. Yes, you're speeding at maybe 100 miles an hour and you give a brake suddenly. The car continues to run for a couple of meters, couple of yards. So no, don't worry. If the physical body is showing some signs of discomfort or moving, but keep your mind facing within. That is what I have been talking about in the very preparatory step. So that makes the physical body steady, and the mind inside keeps looking inside, facing not the world. That makes the body comfortable and mind carefree. Now you have understood any trigger, any impression, any thought, any feeling has to do with ignorance. So in order to deal with the impressions retrieved from the memory and the I thought, now I'm adding another point. So then we will go deeper into each and every aspect that I'm talking about. It is because of this, the breathing, we use the breathing to purify the mind. But we keep this mind focused, looking inside the heart, deep inside into the space, and there you drop Om Shanti from inside to outside. And then you start breathing quick, short, and gentle breath, and just keep checking the body remains in the state of steadiness. Gentle breath, as if you are playing with the breath. If you are not playing with the breath, the I thought will come. No, I have done so much, now I don't want to do. No, I want to do it. Either you are excited. No. Such a short and gentle breath. Continue. Maybe 180 to 120 breath a minute. It is short and quick. Expansion of the rib cage and expansion and contraction of the rib cage continues. And you are aware the entire body is relatively comfortable and steady. The mind keeps dropping with Om Shanti in calmness, and the breath is doing its work. Even these three layers makes you aware that you are none of them. That is why we are doing. Now our breathing is not done for the sake of simply purifying the mind, but for a larger and a deeper goal. Continue. You start playing, you keep playing with the breath so that you forget the sense of the time, that how long I have to do it. But if your mind says, okay, this guy is going to do it for 7 minutes anyhow, I have to do it, the I thought has come, and that is creating a trouble. Look at the subtle body, how it creates problem. All the thoughts are absorbed into the breath and the Om Shanti and the steadiness of the body. Continue. Om Shanti also continues. Continue. You're playing with the breath. You're playing with your own mind also. Om Shanti. And the intellect is aware of the steadiness in the body. So we are dropping and dissolving that very I thought. When it's a play, you are able to drop that. Continue, do not stop in the middle, even if your mind says, I'm the teacher now, your mind is not the teacher. Don't listen to your mind. I have told you a couple of times. I used that phrase, so continue. Continue, quick, short, and continue. And stop it. We have almost done for 9 minutes. Do not think. Just become aware of the three layers, and that is how we raise our awareness. 3 layers, I told you. First layer is the physical body. So how do we refer the physical body? With a comfort. Even if it is moving, look at comfort. And the breath, another layer, and the mind, dropping Om Shanti. We should understand, and we can raise our awareness when we see the body is steady, the breath is moving, and the mind is working. You know, this experience again and again in your daily life is going for the higher journey. And now you start breathing deep, silent and slow. We will do our niyas again for the sake of understanding the physical and the subtle body. So you already know, as you inhale, the mind moves with the breath inside the right arm in the space, dropping, singing, not dropping, singing Om Shanti, because the breath is deeper, so Om Shanti is also longer, from the shoulder to the fingertips. And as you exhale, the mind moves from the fingers to the shoulder, with the breath singing Om Shanti. I have been repeating on the niyas many a times, and many of you shared your experiences. You see the different layers. The deep silence, slow breath, the body remains steady. otherwise that I did not say, but it by default. And the breath is deep, silent and slow. The mind is going with the breath. Intellect is saying Om Shanti. So when the intellect or mind is aware of the space within, it is facing opposite. But some thought enters, no worries, continue. So there are two ways to understand that. One is that the thought enters, we recognize, but then there are previous impressions in case of a tarry. So previous impressions of that illness returns into the mind with a full force on a given day, and sometimes it does not return. So by practice we reach to a state where we de-identify, and the moment you de-identify, you're there. And now moving the mind inside the left arm with Om Shanti. The Om Shanti. You're doing Om Shanti to prevent any impression to trigger a response, a reaction to the physical body. No, but I'm not able to do it, so don't get frustrated. Because some past impression is doing it. So don't worry, continue the journey. We are checking the mind. Are you moving in a right direction? It is not the other way. The mind is not checking us. We'll understand at a very subtle level what is this. Now inside the right leg. So when we continue doing the practice regularly, I perhaps clearly, I'll explain it again, that you recognize the thought during the practice that triggers a response and a reaction. But at some time you don't recognize that there is no thought, and still it triggers. That is what we say the past impressions. So these past impressions on a given day are stronger than my practice. So when we do it continuously, we feel the change. Om Shanti. And that intellect recognizes that you are getting absorbed. You are withdrawing within. You have a conscious experience that is going to release and destroy these past impressions. Now inside the left leg, deep silence, slow breath, you see one layer, or you can say one point of awareness. Mind moves with the breath, second point of awareness. You are aware of the space within, third point of awareness. The body is in the state of comfort and steadiness, another point of awareness. You are singing Om Shanti, another point of awareness. And somewhere deep inside, that I is there. No, I'm doing good. No, I'm not. You see that? You can pick up these subtler layers. If I know myself, it affects my life. Even if I know the Mars and the moons, no change. Self-discovery is the way. And inside the spine, from the crown of the head to the tailbone, and from the tailbone to the that I thought if it stays deeper inside, like a mirror, the body freezes. It has no way to move. But then there is another option. Even if it moves, the mind is still deeper. So the higher meditation follows paradox logic. This is also true, that is also true. Now leave this, do nothing, go to the triangle, moving the mind on a triangle with awareness that each side represents knowledge, desire for the real self. So the mind goes inside and the action is You already know it. Once you move either clockwise or anti-clockwise, the mind in the middle of the center moves deeper, singing Om. Then become aware as if the mind has stopped. There you drop. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Triangle movement gives clarity to the mind and the intellect. Oh, knowledge is this. Aspiration or desire is this. Action is this. And what is the action? So mind learns, educates itself. What it learns and educates, drop everything. Comes from the camera. What a beauty. No, doing nothing and just understanding. Just an awareness of the physical body, subtle body, and the deeper. Now I need not to explain it again. You already know it. So you're just living into that state of awareness. What does it mean? Come on, you see everyone participating in this session, so you know it. You are aware How many people? This much of people. Same way, you are aware of the physical body, the subtle body, and there you are able to explore. And separate the way the UG Krishnamurti, I gave an example of the fan and movement and the noise. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. You see who is lifting your hand, just check it. And bring your both the palms on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences. Bring the hands down. How are you, Terry? Yeah, it is still not done. You have to unmute it. In the meantime, we'll have, yes. That is the spirit. Once you are settled in real self,
I feel the separation
yes,
between all the different.
all the difference, that is beautiful. One thing is sure. So never talk. You sent an email. She sent such a sweet email. I'll appreciate her. But she made one remark. So you live in peace and happiness. Don't ever think that let me die in peace and happiness. Did you understand that part?
I don't know. I hear it.
Separate yourself. Live into that separation, so then there is no death.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, you got it. I know you will get it. How are you, Brandy?
Good morning, I'm fine. I really needed the preparatory steps today, the breath and vinyasa, but once I got into it, I was a really deep meditation. I didn't want to come out.
Don't want to come out. Beautiful. That is beautiful experience. How are you, David and Jerry?
Similar to Brandy, for me, I was an observer, I was discerning, and I was detached, and it went by in like 5 minutes.
That's beautiful. Yeah, That's beautiful. A state of the timelessness. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good. With the physical body being still and the subtle body being more noticed, I guess then going deeper, the reflection of the light was maybe the true self.
Yes, yes, we are approaching there.
Like, oh, that light, that's me.
That's good. That's a wonderful experience. How are you, Stephen?
Good. That was really great. I had the only thing my meditation that I noticed was during the pranayama part. I found that I wasn't controlling my breath
Yeah.
faster, and I was okay with that. It was fine. So the pace that I set at the beginning and the pace that I finished at the end, it just ran on its own, which was a great experience. The rest of the meditation was absolute, complete detachment.
Complete detachment.
It was not my body. I was not my mind. It was just a great feeling of relaxation.
Great feeling. Look at Terry, you are listening. When I'm not the body, mind, thought, feeling, then where is the depth?
Mm-hmm.
How are you, Barbara? Barbara met Terry a couple of times at my home in New Jersey. Yes, Barbara, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I just was completely involved in the meditation. I felt totally apart from the outside world, and I wanted to stay there.
Beautiful. You see that? Today we did 9 minutes of breathing, nobody complaining. I love it.
No.
We can even go for 20 minutes. How are you, Sam?
Good. The pranayama for me did get to a point where it did feel almost automatic. When we started the nyasa, I just noticed I had a little bit more heat at the end of my fingers. Other than that, I've never had this before, but I had a couple of involuntary movements. My arm jolted, my foot jolted, but other than that, it was all still and at peace.
Beautiful. Yes, we need not to worry what Sam is pointing out, even if we get some jerks in the body. I think I told you before, it's a release of the past impressions through the physical. So you need not to, we need not to worry about it. Let it happen, involuntary movement. So, how are you, Sangeeta?
सर बहुत अच्छा था सर. एक बार को ना बड़ा ग्रेटिट्यूड का भाव आता है कि स्पेस नहीं है तो हम कुछ भी नहीं है, तो हर एक चीज के लिए ग्रेटिट्यूड है.
That's a good point. We all have an experience, and you will experience what she is saying, that when the mind starts moving deeper inside, when the sense of emptiness returns, your mind and intellect has a sense of gratitude. It will come naturally. Sometimes, I'm grateful to you. No, this is coming from the I thought and the mind. And the gratitude comes from within. Because that real self is of the nature of gratefulness, which is opposite of ego. So, how are you, Samir?
Sir, when I started breathing, I thought it was tiring for 2-3 minutes, and after that I started enjoying it. And
Good.
when it ended at 9 minutes, then I wanted to do it more.
Oh,
And
good,
I
good.
was really surprised that why I am not means tired or not.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop it. And after that there was total darkness and listening to you and
Good. That's, that's a good point, the energy level, that mind does not create any kind of a duality what we are doing. We do not remain the doer, Sam. We do not remain the doer. And the breath is happening. That's why I told you I used to go to David's house and it took 45 minutes and I used to do it. I didn't tell them. So 45 minutes you are doing it, and I see the brain is totally fresh and active. So it moves with the right perception. We are 2 people left. Let me take Ashok first. How are you, sir?
Sir, namaste.
Namaste, sir.
It was very slightly deeper and
Yes.
more calm and peace.
Calm and peace. Now I could see your smile, Everything is changing. Yes, good. And how are you, Anesthesia? You can invite anyone, everyone, as many people. No string is attached because everyone is supporting me here. So you can invite as many people as possible who knows English in these sessions. Otherwise, I'm already giving lessons where she becomes a translator in one session, and in another session, another guy becomes the translator. So I'm keeping in touch with both of them. Yes, Anesthesia.
Yes, thank you. I told some of my students about lessons. Maybe they will come. It's great possibility. Thank you. The practice was very deep and calm, and I feel blessed after practice. And this is a new feeling for me about prana, and because one of my friends, she told me always, like, you have big imagination, that's why you feel all this stuff. And I used to believe her that it's just my imagination, but I like this feeling of energy. And today my hands were pretty hot, and I felt something like a ball between them, hot and moving, and this is interesting. And then I lost this feeling.
That's a wonderful feeling. And that's what, is a sign of the progress. I want to say something. You may not be aware, I have been going to Ukraine almost for 15 years, except when the COVID started. I used to go twice a year, perhaps from the year 2000, even when I was in India. So I used to make one trip there. When I came here, I used to go. So you look at this anesthesia, who cannot fall in love with this anesthesia? Her soft and gentle. Don't tell Oleg, your fiancé. So, I've seen a lot of people there. I used to meet almost around 500 people. So from there, the people from different neighboring countries, from Slovakia, from even Moscow used to come. But the things are different. Now everything will fall into the right place. So that is all. Any question?